Hi there, I'm Nu-Trix, and today we have another cool new app from Roland. It's a recreation of the classic Space Echo. It's the RE-201. The Space Echo is a classic. Why? Many reasons for it. First of all, it sounds good, but not good in the fact that it sounds pristine and clean. No, it sounds good because it has attitude. It came in a moment where the design was a very creative design for getting delays and tape delays. And for those who don't know what a tape delay is, let's just go back and look at what the original was so you understand what a tape was. Remember that, and before digital, you would have reel-to-reel tape, and you would actually record on a tape. You've got the erase head, the record head, and the play head. So you would actually record on one tape, one section here, and you would listen to the play head just after that. So if you would record and play at the same time, the two heads would be active. There would be a delay before the recording and the playback. So you would have a short delay of the second one. Then imagine if you slow down the tape, then the time would change in the delay between the recording and the playback. That's basically, in a nutshell, how it works. Now, of course, a tape delay like the Space Echo that Roland built has much more than just one playhead and one record head. So there's one record head and there's many playback head. And because they're at different places, they have different time reference to the original recording. And then the other way you can change the tempo between, or the time between the original and the delayed playback, or the time of the delay, then it would be actually by changing the speed of the tape. And then that's cool because as you change the speed of the tape, you have the tape slowing down. It's not instant. And that's where you get all these whoa, 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 slowing down, and the pitch changes. And then going whoa, 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 faster. And that's where the tape echo has a special sound to it. On top of the fact that it's actually tape. So it has all the quirks and sound qualities and errors of the tape. A tape, as it plays back over and over again, changes its quality and capacity or capabilities of retaining the signal, the original sound recorded. So it has, it loses high frequencies. And if you change the speed, it has less precision in the quality of the sound. So it's more muffled. And so all these tape related artifacts that you would get because it's slowed down, it's older, you would get that in the tape echo. And it's part of the signature of the sound. It sounds sometimes nasty and gritty and old, if you want, tape sound. And there's also, if you saturate the tape, it does a reaction that it does not do on other type of medium. So there's also that you can saturate it, and sometimes that's what you get in the intensity of the feedback that's coming back into the tape. So the logic of the original, you would have a loop of tape playing back over and over again. You would re-record on top of it. So this is actually pretty interesting in the way it worked. Now, how do you bring the same fun to a digital version of it? So first of all, Roland used the ACB technology. Everybody that knows Roland and knows the synthesizer, it will talk about ACB technology as being the most precise technology they built for high-end recreation or simulation of the original circuits. That's what you have in a System 8. That's what you have in most of the boutique synthesizers, and a lot of virtual synthesizers they have on the cloud is all based on that technology, a lot of it. So it has a very nice sound, and it's very precise in the way it emulates all the different quirks of all the parts in the circuit of the whole system, knowing that if you change a knob over there, it might affect something on the other side. Because these original 80s synthesizers and hardware devices were, I would say, limited and more analog in the way they work. So some part of it could influence the other one, even if you didn't send signal to that part. So it's interesting to understand, but it's more complex than just say, well, it's a good imitation. No, it's they simulate all the different circuits and the way they interact in this particular device. So the Space Echo, the RE-201, that's what they did for it. So how does it look? How does it sound? Well, it looks like this. It looks like this. So you have this Space Echo. You have the control of the original devices, the mic volume, from PA volume, instrument volume. So there's 3 different sources you can select from. You can actually click on this, just choose, or you can select between mic, PA, and instrument here. It will change the impedance of what's coming in. But of course, this is a virtual recreation. So of course, you could send your guitar right into the computer and go through this. But what's going to be happening today, if I do it in virtually, it's just going to change the input volume, and it might distort if my original signal was a line level synthesizer or whatever. So you can use it to create, like as a preamp, and to create distortion if you want, or saturation at the input. You play with this. The mode selector is really interesting, and you have to understand when you move this around, when you select different sections, look, you have heads. Head 1, 2, 3, 4, and add plus reverb. And they show you add number 1, 2, 3. Remember the other picture I showed you earlier where you see there's different recording and playback adds? Well, it's basically what you do. You say, I'm going to listen to playback add 1, playback add 2, 3, and every time you're changing, you're moving away from the original, and you can combine these and say, well, I would just want to add number 3, or I want to combine, I want to listen to 2 and playback add number 3. So I have 2 echo, and then I want delay for add 1. So short delay plus reverb. So basically 1, 2, 3 is about how short or longer the delay is. And the reverb, well, it's a reverb. You have it here. And then when you get to the other end here, what you have is add 1, 2, and 3. So here the 3 playback, so 3 echo plus or 3 time delays, and you have the reverb. So that's basically the logic between this. You're selecting different playback adds. Then you've got a bass treble, so you control, the reaction of it. But this is just for the reverb. So you can say, well, the reverb doesn't have any bass. It's just going to be, the high frequency. So you can just tune it the way you want for the reverb, and how much reverb do you want. So that's here. In the bottom section, the green one, you've got the repeat rate, the intensity, and the echo volume. So echo volume is how much you're going to hear the echo, so the playback adds. And the repeat rate, so it's basically the speed of the tape. And intensity is how much you're going to listen to it. So other people could call it feedback. So if you put it to the maximum, it's going to create that feedback loop that we know about. It starts to self-oscillate. It becomes its own feedback. And again, you've got the same logic of high output, medium output, or low output. Okay? Now, the clean sound. Like I said earlier, if you change the repeat rate, you hear the tape slowing down or faster. And if you want more reverb, have more bass or less, that's just for the reverb. And again, and it saturates really rapidly because it's a tape. You're just overloaded. Let's say we bring this down here, and the 3 different microphones. So you're saturating the microphone input. The PA, again, it's maybe too loud. If I click instrument, it should be cleaner. Because my source is a line level, instrument is a virtual synthesizer. So matching this gives you a more clean sound, but if going like this, you're going to get distortion. It might be what you want. The preamp itself could be interesting for you. So that's the logic of how you use it. Now there's little things like condition, you know. You can say, I want to change I want a pristine appearance, like it would be new, all clean. Or you can say, no, I want it to be older, aged, and, you know, rusty and a little bit banged up. It doesn't change the sound, it's just the look of it. Now to change the sound of it, if you go here, this section becomes interesting. Okay, now this is where you get all the information about the sound. You have, of course, the different controls you have here, but on top of that, it shows you that right now, this one is in mono mode. So you get one side, it's a single system playing everything. If you're going dual, then you're gonna have two systems. Now right away, you've got this stereo effect. So that's pretty cool right away. Now you have also the information about how these things are going around the whole system. So is it going into the tape echo? You see the VU, and then it goes into the tone, and then into the amplifier, or it goes into the reverb and then mic preamp. If I switch this to, let's say, normal, you see that it bypasses, or if I go like this, normal, the echo channel is totally bypass. So my microphone, my instrument here, goes straight into, you see, goes into the reverb, but it's disconnected, so it goes straight into the amp. So this is really just using this as a preamp. If I go like this, now I got the effect. If I go bypass, the instrument goes into the mic preamp, go back here, and go back here. Everything is back into being connected here. Now, we have the dual section, we have a tempo sync. You understand that now this value is musically related. So now there's a tempo, LFO based, changing how the tape reacts. So you're playing with the speed of the tape. Like this, you're going to hear it even more. So it's wobbly. Okay, so that's the logic here. If I put it very soft, and not too much, just to create a little movement. That might be what I want. Now there's the rate range, how fast it's going to vibrate. You want it to be slow. Now the tempo is slower. The tempo, I mean the speed of the tape. It gives you a longer reverb, or a fast one, which becomes really short, and you get this almost slap echo if you want. But on top of that, let's go back to normal. You've got condition. As you play with condition, you're changing all the parameters of the age of the tape, of the heads, of the motors, so it start to behave more like an older device. It has its own sound. If you go back to 0, you're going back to factory bought device, new device. And you got the wow and flutter. Again, it's about the motors, how they're stable or not, older. The torque of the motor if you want. So you can play with that until you find the old school type of sound you really like. You got a low cut. You can cut the low frequencies. Do the same thing for the high cut. You can cut. And you got a master volume. And that's basically all the advantage stuff in this. Now, let's just play with some of the sounds. You can create really freaky stuff with this. stop this for now. And I'll try that on different sounds. Let's say we have this one here. So this one is a bass, like this, which is kind of soft and clean. We add this. I'm actually using this just for the instrument volume, and I'm saturating it. So I want to have that in-your-face noise. That's what I'm looking for. I want this attitude preamp part of it. So I'm just using this as a texture control. Now if I try for the drum, okay, what's happening here? That's pretty cool. So what do we have? I've got my kick, okay, kick. There's some echo on it. And the kick is just like this. I'm using the washout EP sound. That's kind of a very, it's in the back. It's not too in your face, and that's fine because I just want to have some echo because there's a room and it gives it rhythm. So like, you know, so that's a cool one for the kick. Without it. If I find it's too long, I can I can control that. The two hi-hats. Now this hi-hat is interesting because it has this weird rhythm to it. Am I turning on? Right away I've got rhythm with that. And the last one is intensity to the maximum. So this one is just nasty. Just that ghostly feedback. If I want it to be less obvious, I could actually bring it down here. Try to pick the right place for it to be. Maybe my piano's now too weird up. Better and stereo. That's a cool one. That's the Space Echo RE-201 from Roland. It's a great plug-in. You've got all this extra control here. You see how it's happening. You have the condition function that is really cool. You've got a bunch of really nice preset to work with. Again, these are part of the effects that I call creative effects. You use that part of your creation process because the rhythm that you have from the Space Echo becomes part of the song. So you cannot get rid of it. It is part of the instrument that you're playing. So it's a really cool thing. And imagine having a Space Echo, and if you want one on your snare, another one on your guitar, another one on your hi-hat, it means that you need either to buy 3 of them or to record every time all these different things one at a time. In this case, you just load it up and it works. And you actually can save it. Pretty cool. This is out today for all the ultimate members or subscribers of the Roland Cloud. So you have access to this. You can download and use it right away. It's the preview VIP treatment for the ultimate users. Now it's going to be available for everybody else in a month. in August. I'm not sure exactly the date, but follow the YouTube channel and the online accounts of Roland. You'll know exactly when it's going to be available for everybody else if you want to buy this. That's it. Stay safe, make more music, and see you soon. Cheers.